My dear students and my dear viewers, I welcome all of you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon all of you. So, it's an honor to meet you again in this new session where we are going to discuss the verb in the perspective of its transitive and intransitive parameters. So, we are going to deal with what are transitive verbs and what are intransitive verbs. So first, before going through the details of transitive or intransitive verbs, let's understand what does the word transit imply. What does it imply? Okay, I will write transit. So if you take it as noun, अगर आप इसको एक noun लेते हैं तो ये इस word का माना क्या है? So transit, the word transit, if you go through the definitions of this word, this is the act of conveyance of people or goods, or this is the process through which you move or you transport people or goods from one place to another place. So this is the meaning of simple definition of the word transit. तो जब आप कहते हैं कि this is an act of conveyance of the people or goods from one place to another place, तो there must be an origin or there must be a destination. तो जब आप कहते हैं कि आप एक ऐसी प्रोसेस को ट्रांजिट कहते हैं कि जिससे आप मुख्तलिफ चीज़ों को या मुख्तलिफ अशिया को या मुख्तलिफ कारकुनों को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ले जाते हैं, तो दिस इज़ ट्रांजिट. ओके, तो थोड़ा और इसको अगर हम समझने की कोशिश करेंगे तो हमारे लिए आसान होगा. मॉडर्न वे ऑफ शॉपिंग, almost all of us we go for online shopping, almost all of us, and we are acquainted with this process. When we place an order on any online website, it may be anything, and after a day or 2 days we check the process, we check the status of our package, and we come to know that if the package has been processed and has been dispatched by the owner, so you will most often you will say the status is in transit. तो जब भी हम ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग करते हैं, शॉपिंग के लिए जाते हैं और हम कोई प्रोडक्ट ख़रीदते हैं किसी भी ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग वेबसाइट से, तो फिर जब हम 1 दिन के बाद 2 दिन के बाद उस अपने पैकेज का स्टेटस चेक करते हैं तो यूजुअली आम तौर पे वो दिखाता है इन ट्रांजिट. और इन ट्रांजिट का मतलब क्या होता है, इसका माना क्या होता है कि अभी रास्ते में है, कि वो अपने ओरिजिन से निकला है, डेस्टिनेशन की तरफ बढ़ रहा है, लेकिन अभी बीच रास्ते में है. सो मे बी दैट इज बीइंग सेंट वाया air or through this any medium of transport. So you just come to know in transit. तो जब हम कहते हैं in transit, that means कि किसी भी चीज़, anything, any product, any person or any animal which is said to be in the transit, that means उसका एक origin है और उसकी एक destination है. तो मैंने आपको बाय डेफिनेशन ये कहा था कि ट्रांजिट का जो डेफिनेशन है वो यही है कि द एक्ट ऑफ कन्वेयंस ऑफ people or goods from one place to another place। तो जब आप उन चीज़ों के एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ले जाते हैं तो उन चीज़ों या उन इंसानों या उन जानवरों का कोई ओरिजिन होता है, वो ओरिजिन से लेके कोई डेस्टिनेशन पे जाते हैं। तो तब जाके आप कहेंगे दिस इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ ट्रांजिट, ओके, और द प्रोसेस ऑफ ट्रांजिशन। नाउ तो हम अभी पढ़ रहे हैं या वी आर डीलिंग विद द transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. In the previous lecture of the lexical aspect of verbs, we have already come to know that verbs not only confer the meaning or the idea of action, rather they express the states or they give us the situations as well, as far as the stative verbs are concerned. Okay, now तो जहाँ तक ट्रांजिटिव वर्ब्स की बात है तो मैंने आपको सिंपली ये एक डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन दिया, सिंपल एक एग्जाम्पल दिया कि कोई भी चीज़ जो ट्रांजिट में है उसके लिए ओरिजिन का होना और उसके लिए डेस्टिनेशन का होना ज़रूरी है। एंड दिस इज ऑल अबाउट, दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ ट्रांजिट। ओके, आई विल रब ऑफ दिस नाउ। As far as the transitive verb is concerned, and before going to deal with the transitive verb, I would like to remind you dynamic verbs. So when we talked about dynamic verbs, we say that dynamic verbs are those verbs where you need an input of action by an agent. That may be a thing, that may be an animal, that may be a person. It depends. Okay, so transitive verbs are dealing with always they are dynamic verbs. There must be an agent, and not only agent, not only subject, there must be an object. For example, let's take an example. Okay, a simple sentence, we can understand this with a simple sentence. Abdullah ate an apple. Okay, so the main verb, the dynamic verb where we have this ate, and it is the past form of eat. So इस काम को यानी ये जो खाने का काम है, इस काम को अंजाम देने वाला कोई है, and who is the doer of this action? That is none other than Abdullah, and Abdullah is the doer of this action. Okay, and what is it that is at the receiver's end? That is receiver of the action, that is an apple, which functions as an object of the verb, and the doer is the subject of the verb. Okay, now we have subject of the verb, we have object of the verb, and we have action, that is an act of eating. We have here the past form of eat, ate. Okay, now क्या आप कह सकते हैं कि जो यहाँ पर ये काम हो रहा है, ये काम ट्रांसफर हुआ है फ्रॉम सब्जेक्ट टू ऑब्जेक्ट? ये जो खाने का काम हुआ है, ये इसको अंजाम दिया है अब्दुल्ला ने. The doer performs this action of eating and it does have its effect on the object. आपके पास जो मफूल है, जिसको आप उर्दू में मफूल कहते हैं, वो एप्पल है. और एप्पल एट द रिसीवर्स एंड, तो जैसे मैंने ट्रांजिट का जो एक सिंपल एग्जाम्पल दिया था, तो यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि अब्दुल्ला इट इज़ एन ओरिजिन and apple is a destination. So when you have a verb where the action transfers from subject to object and the object receives the effect of that particular action, you call that verb as a transitive verb. Simply, तो आप कुल मिला के बात ये कह सकते हैं कि जब फ़ाइल से मफ़ूल तक जो काम है वो ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है, that transports or that transits from the subject, from the doer to the receiver or the object of the verb, that particular verb is known as transitive verb. Simple definition of transitive verbs. I hope that you might have understood the definition of, or the meaning of, or the crux or the essence of the verb transitive verb, the term transitive verb. तो ट्रांजिटिव वर्ब आपके लिए वो वर्ब हुआ, वो काम हुआ, वो एक्शन हुआ, वो फेल हुआ जो सब्जेक्ट से लेकर ऑब्जेक्ट तक ट्रांसफर होता है. Any verb which shows such an action that transfers, that transits from the subject to the object and the object receives the effect of that particular action, so you can call that transitive verb. और इसका बिल्कुल उलट है मीनिंग intransitive verbs का. इसका बिल्कुल the opposite of the transitive verbs is simply an intransitive verb. For example, let's take an example. Okay, now I have written some examples on the board. First is, I saw a dream. That horse never kicks. Students speak the truth. Okay, these are three simple sentences. First, I saw a dream, and here we have saw as a verb, as a main verb of a sentence. In sentence 2, that horse never kicks. We have this, and students speak the truth. We have speak. Okay, so we have three verbs: saw, kicks, and speak. Okay, if you analyze carefully and if you ponder over these sentences, you will come to know that the action in the first sentence, the action in the second sentence, the action reflected by the third sentence, all these actions come to an end with the subject. They are not passing over from subject to object. Rather, they just end with the subject itself. And any verb, अगर आपके पास कोई भी any verb which ends with the subject itself, then you can call that verb intransitive verb. Here you do not need a transportation, you do not need a transition, you do not need a passing over of an action from subject to object. Here the action dies with the subject. Here the action is complete with the subject within. So that very verb which reflects such a sense, which gives us such a sense, that very verb is known as intransitive verb. So my dear students, I hope that it might have been very clear for all of you that what is the actual difference, what is the basic difference between a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. Thanks for watching. I will welcome all of you in the next session in the context of transitive and intransitive verbs. Thank you very much.